Today, I'll be performing an excerpt from the first chapter of Anthony Kiedis' autobiography titled Scar Tissue. Kiedis finds himself in a strange part of town, alone, desperately waiting for drugs that may never come. Before long, he won't be alone anymore, but the company that finds him isn't the company that he hoped for. Trust me, you don't want to go in there, Mario told me. Anything can happen in there, and it's not going to be good. So just give me the money, and I'll go get the stuff. Part of me was going, Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't want to get ripped off by this guy. I mean, he's never done it before, but I wouldn't put anything past him. But the other, larger part of me just wanted that heroin. So I pulled out the last $40 that I stashed away, and I gave it to him, and he disappeared into the building. I've been shooting up coke for so many days straight that I was hallucinating, in a strange limbo between consciousness and sleep. All I could think was that I really needed him to come out of that building with my drugs. I took off my prized possession, my vintage leather jacket. Years earlier, Flea and I had spent all our money on these matching leather jackets, and this jacket had become like a house to me. It stored my money, my keys, and in a nifty little secret pocket, my syringes. Now, I was so wasted and chilly that I sat down on the curb and draped my jacket over my shoulders as if it were a blanket. Come on, Mario. Come on, you gotta come down now, I chanted my mantra. I envisioned him leaving that building with a dramatically different pep in his step, going from the slumping, downtrodden guy to the skipping, whistle while you work, let's go shoot up guy. I just closed my eyes for an instant when I sensed a shadow looming over me. I looked over my shoulder and saw a hulking, big, dirty, crazy-looking Mexican Indian coming at me with a huge industrial pair of cut-your-head-off giant scissors. He was in mid-stab, so I arched my back forward to get away from his thrust. But suddenly a skinny little jack-o'-lantern Mexican bastard jumped in front of me holding a menacing-looking switchblade. I made an instantaneous decision that I wasn't going to take it from the back from the big guy. I'd rather take my chances with the scarecrow killer in front of me. This is all happening so fast, but when you're faced with your own death, you go into that slow motion mode where you get the courtesy of the universe expanding time for you. So I jumped up and, with my leather jacket in front of me, charged at the skinny guy. I pushed the jacket onto him and smothered him, and I dropped it and ran out of there like a Roman candle. I ran, and I didn't stop running until I got to where my car was parked. But then I realized I didn't have my keys. I had no keys, no jacket, no money, no syringes, and worst of all, I had no drugs. And Mario wasn't the kind of guy to just come looking for me. So I walked back to his house, but nada. Now the sun had come up and we were supposed to leave for Arizona in an hour. So I went to a payphone and found some change and called Lindy. Lindy, I'm down on 7th and Alvarado and haven't been asleep for a while. And I have my car here, but I have no keys. Can you come pick me up on the way to Arizona? He was used to these Anthony distress calls, so an hour later, there was our blue van pulling up to the corner, packed with equipment and all the other guys. And one deranged, sad, torn up, filthy passenger climbed aboard. I immediately got the cold shoulder from the rest of the band, so I rested my head in the center column between the two front seats and passed out. Hours later, I woke up drenched in sweat because I was lying on top of an engine, and it was at least 115 degrees out. And I felt great. And Flea and I split a tab of LSD, and we rocked out that steakhouse. In this performance, I wanted to capture the deranged headspace of a druggie on a bender suffering from withdrawals and drug-induced insomnia. So I decided to add a quiver and a sense of desperation to my voice when reciting lines from that experience. However, Kiedis is telling this story from a now sober headspace, decades removed from the trauma. So when I'm acting as Kiedis the narrator, I tried to add a sense of reflection and distress from recalling such a terrible situation, although one that was much too common for Kiedis back in the day. For that reason, Kiedis as the narrator was a bit difficult to pin down. On one hand, there has to be a sense of reminiscing, but on the other hand, one of sorrow that his life was ever that desperate. During the climax of the scene, when Kiedis gets jumped, I use my body to act out the scene of a stabbing and use... Yeah, well, that's it.